Our solar system was created about 4.5 billion years ago. It was about a half a billion years later that life started on this planet. About 200 or 300,000 years ago, human beings first appeared. I have no idea how many generations that is, but think of this. Our generation was the first generation since the beginning of human thought to know what Pluto looks like. Well, hello there, Old Man Kelly here, Jeff to my friends. You can call me Jeff. So what's the deal with Pluto? First it was the 9th planet, now it's not the 9th planet. Hey, Pluto's great. Whether it's a major planet or just a dwarf one, it doesn't matter. Pluto shows how remarkable the human race can be and how astonishing science is. Plus, it looks beautiful.
What's the scale of the solar system? Suppose the Sun to be 7 feet 6 inches across. At this scale, Mercury, a pea, and it's 36 million miles from the Sun, 100 yards. Next planet, Venus, a walnut. It's 67 million miles, which is 190 yards. Earth and Moon, only 240 yards. Mars, 142 million miles becomes only 400 yards, a quarter of a mile. Massive Jupiter, a 9-inch cabbage. Now we move out to a different area of the solar system. 486 million miles are represented by 1,500 yards. From here on, distances are vast. Saturn would be at 1.5 miles, Uranus 3 miles, Neptune 4 miles, Pluto 7.
You see, Pluto is far away. It's about 4.67 billion miles from Earth, depending on where it is and the Earth is at the time. And it's smaller than our moon. It has an odd elliptical orbit that sort of goes on an angle compared to the other planets. One revolution around the Sun is about 22 billion miles, and it takes 248 Earth years to do so. Since its discovery in 1930 till now, it hasn't even gone halfway around the Sun. The fact that we know about Pluto is amazing. I mean, something so small, so far away, traveling through the coldness of space, the fact that that could be spotted from Earth, that's beyond finding a needle in a haystack.
The Sun is but a bright star shedding no warmth on the desolate landscape of Pluto, the last and least known of the planets.
Pluto was discovered by this guy, Clyde Tombaugh, in 1930. He was 23 at the time and spent a year comparing photographs of stars, flipping between plates, using something called a blink comparator to compare different images to see if any one of those little dots moved more like a planet than a star. It was on a series of plates taken between January 23rd and January 29th, 1930, that he saw the mysterious planet X, the 9th planet. And for a short time, he was the only person on Earth who knew there was another world out there. He made his announcement on March 13, 1930, and the discovery made headlines all over the world.
The planets of the solar system are usually divided into 2 groups: the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, and the outer planets, at increasingly vast distances from the Sun: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto.
Right away, thousands of suggestions from all over the world came in to name the new planet, but it was an 11-year-old schoolgirl in Oxford, England, Venetia Burney, who came up with the name. She suggested the name Pluto after the god of the underworld to her grandfather. Soon after the planet was named Pluto, Disney named their new cartoon dog Pluto. Some people think it's the other way around. Still, even though people knew that Pluto was there, no one knew what it looked like. After all, it was very small and a freaking long way away. You know those grade school models of the solar system? It's not like that at all.
At present, there are no plans to send a probe to Pluto. Of the 9 planets, it will be the only one not visited in this century by an automated spacecraft.
All we had were pictures like this. Even after the Hubble Space Telescope was blasted into space, then fixed, the best view we had were still blurry and without detail. That was before the New Horizons spacecraft with its plutonium power source was launched on January 19, 2006. It took just 9 years to get to Pluto, which is pretty amazing. It was traveling at speeds between 36,000 and 50,000 miles per hour. To put that speed in perspective, it took just 9 hours to pass our moon. When you think about how much space there is around Pluto, way out there, that through science and mathematics, this little spacecraft could be navigated all the way there and fly within 7,800 miles of its surface, that's unbelievable. And to understand, they cannot steer this thing in real time. To take a message to change course, it takes 4.5 hours for that message to reach the spacecraft. And to find out if they made the right decision, it takes another 4.5 hours to get a return message.
But it's certain that Pluto is a very strange world. It appears to be composed of frozen gases, and its density is half that of water. Methane frost has been detected on its surface. Its moon, Charon, discovered in 1978, is half the diameter of Pluto, and orbits in the same time that Pluto takes to rotate around its axis.
And the space probe cannot be stopped. Images are taken as it flies by, so if calculations are just a little off and all they get are pictures of black space, oops, over a decade's worth of work and millions of dollars have just been wasted. And speaking of transmissions, its transmitter is only 10 watts, which is almost nothing. One picture from its camera, which is named Lori by the way, takes up to an hour to get transmitted back to Earth. But thankfully, NASA got some unbelievably wonderful images like this. And speaking of what Pluto is, a planet or a dwarf planet, I don't care. And I think if Pluto could talk, it wouldn't care. It's just a label humans have given it at this time in history. But Pluto is what Pluto is. And it's been that way for 4 billion years, no matter what we call it. The thing is, the reason why all this happened was, well, Pluto's part of the Kuiper Belt. And apparently, if Pluto was allowed to keep its planetary status, there would eventually be hundreds of objects that would also have to be called planets. And do you want your kids to have to memorize hundreds of planets' names? And when we were kids, we only had 9, so I don't think so. But as I think about it, couldn't the International Astronomical Union, the ones who came up with this new complicated definition of what a planet is, have given Pluto, I don't know, an exception, a rule exception or something like that? Probably not. So to wrap this all up, when you hear people tell you that science is stupid or science doesn't know what they're talking about, tell them to try sending a machine slightly bigger than a refrigerator over 4 billion miles in 9 years to an exact spot in space and send back beautiful color pictures of something that no one has ever seen before. If they can do that, then okay, then science is stupid.
Moving on, we look back to see Pluto eclipse the sun. We are now on the outer edge of our solar system. It takes light from the sun 5 hours to reach here, and more than 4 years to reach the nearest star out in space.
Well, thank you for watching another vlog. A little explanation about what I've been doing lately. For those of you who've watched this over the last couple years, you'll notice that the last few episodes have sort of changed. I came to the realization that who really wants to hear about Jeff and his life? I mean, the fact of the matter is it even bores me, so it's got to bore you guys. I have this love of learning certain things like Pluto, or last episode I did New Coke. I got these things stuck in my head. I want to know more about it, so I look it up, and then I decided to write it up, and then I just sort of decided to do a vlog about it, and that's what way it's going to be for a while. Not all the time. Once in a while I'll get a little silly, and I'll put a little humor in there, and I've also got some unboxing videos I'm going to put up soon. But I hope you don't mind me doing it this way, and maybe it'll get a few more viewers, who knows. But this stuff fascinates me, and it's sort of an idiot's guide to the universe or something. I don't know, because I'm not an expert, and I think that in a weird way helps the fact that I can explain things in a very simple way that are, yeah, granted, sometimes they're probably going to be a bit too simple, but if I can understand it, then you should be able to understand it, because sometimes I watch some of these science shows and whoosh. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll be back probably in 2 weeks with something else. I don't know. I got a new telescope, and I'm going to do a vlog about that soon, so